What's up, guys? This is my deck profile. This is George, and this is going to be Dark Worlds today. Working on another deck right now for you guys who are interested. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Working on Worms. Yes, I'm working on Worms. Worms are a very underutilized deck that I feel are still very strong if played right. Very control-based deck. I don't have everything for it. I need dualities, a T-King, a bottomless, 2D prisms, and that's about it to finish the main deck. So if you guys have any of those cards, please let me know. I really need them. Anyways, this is going to be, again, a deck profile for my Dark World build, so I'm just going to get into it. I don't really have a lot of time to explain everything in detail, so if you need to know anything, just please comment or message me about it. 3 Grapha, standard. 3 Snow, again, standard in Dark World. 3 Brow, standard. Not really going to go into that. 2 Silva, not really too standard in Dark World, though it should be, because 2 Silva over 2 golds or 1 gold and 1 Silva is silly, considering the mirror match hates hitting Silvas. So 2 Beige. I run Beige because it's just a Dark World to have in your hand for things like gates and stuff like that. So obviously it's another monster you can normal and bounce for Grapha too. So very nice. This is Dark World Turbo, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. And 1 Trance. I might run into 2, but right now Trance is doing good at 1. Very good effect for Dark World. It's essentially a Dark World monster in my opinion, but whatever. Next we're going into spells, and right now my fucking deck's falling apart. God damn it. 3 Gates, main engine of Dark World. Very, very good card. Very bad card if you get to MST on your cost, but other than that, it's a good staple in Dark World. Next we got 3 Dark World Dealings. Very, very important card to have, but not necessarily something to run in 3. The reason why I'm running it in 3 is because it's this turbo. This deck really goes off very fast. Usually in turn 1 or 2, it goes off extremely fast if the right hand occurs. Usually doesn't go into really late game. So this is why I'm running 3 Dealings. Obviously you side them out in mirror matches, but other than that, Dealings is very, very, very good. Very good for this build. 3 Drag Down. Fucking God, I hate this leather. I don't have a mat right now, so I'm using my leather seat as a really just a surface for my cards right now. 3 Drag Down. Some people run 2 or 1. I run 3 because this is turbo, so you really need that draw power. I do like it though. It works really well against windups and other decks that really need that good hand control. It's also very good because you run Mind Crush in this build as well, which can definitely help out with minusing your opponent's hand in order for you to get game. And if you really go with the Mind Crush drag down combination, you're probably going to get game anyways. 3 Upstart Goblins. I'm running 3 because, again, this is turbo, so not really going to go into it. It's 37 card deck with Upstart Goblin, and it goes really fast, so I can afford it. Card Destruction. Really not going to go into it. It's a staple in Dark World. Really bad in the mirror match though, so definitely want to side this out if you run into the mirror match, which could possibly happen considering Dark Worlds are very cheap. Allure of Darkness. Really bad in Dark World, but it's a turbo based build, and running things like Beige and Brow, you really don't care about removing them too much if you have your proper setup anyways. 2 MSTs. I might run it to 3 because I don't run Heavy Storm in this build. There's too much back row for it with the Field Spell and Dark Smogs and shit. I don't like running Heavy Storm. It's a dead draw a lot of the time. Regardless, MST is very good. I might run it to 3 though, so we'll see. Monster Reborn, Dark Hole, staples, in my opinion at least. Now we're going into traps. 1 Smog. I might run 2, though I don't feel like looking for a second one, and honestly 1 has been working out fine, but I don't think I really want to clog up the deck with 2. Really good card. If you're going to run Dark World, please try to get this card. Please, I've seen so many builds not have this card. I mean, if you're going to run budget, that's fine, but please try to get this card. It's very, very good. Mind Crush. Very good. Again, in combination with Drag Down into the Grave, because you're basically seeing your opponent's hand. And then if you see multiples of a card, or if you see something like Dark Ogres or something you really don't like, or BLS, hit Mind Crush, you target that card, you get rid of it, and on top of that, the secondary effect of Mind Crush is if they don't have a card that you declared in their hand, you randomly discard a card, from your hand, and if they hit a Dark World, you get their effect off, so it's very good. Song Brigade. Obvious. I might not run them though, because honestly, I do like mass destruction in this build more than just controlling my opponent. But at the same time, they've been working out fine. I do like them, especially when I get my plays out, and then I can basically control the field with Psalms and Warnings. So. And finally, 3 Reckless Greed. 3 Reckless are very important in this build because of the turbo factor. You're running essentially 37 card deck with Upstart Goblins, and this would make it even less. The skipping draw phases are not the greatest thing in the world, obviously, but if you chain them in multiply, you only skip 2 draw phases, but you'll be drawing 4 cards or 6 cards. So obviously you don't want to draw into 2 cards with a Reckless, but honestly, if you have to, use it. Sometimes it can pay off, sometimes it doesn't. If it doesn't pay off, oh well, but most of the time it works out really well for me. And most of the time I don't just draw into 1 anyways and activate it unless my opponent is seriously going for game. So, and a lot of the time I see myself having a set Dark Smog. I Reckless in case my opponent has a big play out. And then I draw into things like Grapha, Dark Smog, get rid of their monster or whatever with Grapha. So essentially it's a pretty good card. I really like it. And again, it's turbo, so it speeds up the build a lot. Anyways, that is my build right now, Dark Worlds. So far they have been very consistent. They've got top 4 at one of my locals. Honestly, that locals isn't really too competitive, so I'm not going to brag about that, but they did well. They beat Sectors and some other really not common but not necessarily uncommon matchups, such as Counter Fairies and Macro. It does really well at my other locals as well. The only time I really see a problem with this deck is if I just have a dead hand, which doesn't happen a whole lot, or if my opponent runs something along the lines of that fucking Spellcaster build that runs the Village card, or they have an early Naturia Beast or something like that, which can really destroy the build because of the high amount of spell count in this deck. But other than that, this card, or this deck rather, works really well, in my opinion, and it's honestly, in my opinion, the most consistent version of Dark World. I don't really like the control-based Dark World. I don't really like the skill drain set, because those builds obviously don't do well against the current meta right now in windups and stuff if they go first turn, you know what I mean? On the other hand, I do side in things like skill drains. I side in DD Crow because Dark Smog really doesn't pop off on your opponent's turn, which can really matter. If you don't have any Fiends with Dark Smog, it's really going to hurt you a lot. I run things like well, I'm not going to really reveal my whole extra deck. I'll probably put in the description or something. But anyways, I'm going to go, guys. Please, if you have any suggestions, tell me, let me know, and I'll see you later. Peace.